Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NIDA SYAFITRI ARIANI. My NPM is 19210015. I'm from class PBI regular morning 4th semester Banjarmasin. Today I will answer my final test teaching English for young learner. Okay, I will start now. Meeting 1. Key concept of English for a Gain language or EFL and English second language or ESL. A. Description of this course. An ESL classroom is one in which English is the primary nation language. On the other hand, an EFL classroom is one in which English is not the native language. B. Relevance of course. The relevance of course is the student will engage their home and society environment into the activities in this book, as mentioned in exercise. C. Detail of the material learning outcomes. 1. The history of English second language and English for a Gain language. The difference between English as a foreign language and English as a second language is that in the latter instance only, English has actual assigned communicated status within the country, although there is a total of 75 territories where English has a special place in society. 2. The distinction between ESL and EFL in language classroom. An ESL classroom, the class is usually of mixed nationalities, so students do not share a native language or common culture outside the classroom. Students have a specific practical need for English and ample opportunity to use it. Students have extensive daily exposure to English-speaking culture, although their understanding might be limited by their language skill. An EFL classroom students share the same language and culture. The teacher may be the only native English speaker they have exposed to. Outside of the classroom, students have very few opportunities to use English. For some, learning English might not have any obvious practical benefit. Students have limited exposure to English-speaking culture, most often through a distorted lens like TV or music. Meeting 2. The characteristic of English language learner. Some facts about adult and young learners. A. Description of course. There are 3 kinds of learner in EFL classroom: young learner, adolescents, and adult. Activities in a young learner classroom should be short and many activities. Adolescents can use many different ways of studying and practicing the language. It is possible for adults to spend more time on learning text, so it is possible to engage more deeply with the learning material. B. Relevance of course. The relevance of the course is the student will engage their home and society environment in the activities in this book, as mentioned detail in the exercise. C. Detail of material, young learner. They respond or talk they do not understand. 1. They learn from everything around them. They learn indirectly rather than directly. 2. They understand mostly when they see, hear, touch, and interact rather than from explanation. 3. Abstract concepts are difficult to deal with. 4. They generally display a curiosity about the world and an enthusiasm for learning a language. Teaching should have a rich repertoire of activities to help young children receive information from a variety of sources and plan a range of activities for a given time period. Adolescents 1. Despite their success in language learner, they are seen as problematic students. 2. They commit passionately when they are engaged. 3. Most of them start to understand the need for learner. 4. Attention span is longer as a result of intellectual development. 5. They can talk about abstract issues to a certain point. 6. They can use many different ways of studying and practicing the language. They search for identity and self-esteem, thus they need to feel good about themselves and valued. Adult 1. They can engage with abstract talk. 2. They have a wide range of positive or negative life and learning experience. 3. They have expectation about the learning process and they have their own patterns of learning. 5. They are more disciplined than the other age groups and know how to struggle on despite boredom. Meeting 3. The characteristic of young learners' learning style or theories of young learners' learning development. A. Description of the course. The teacher needs many objects, visual and picture to work with, and to create a possibility to use all of the school surroundings. B. Relevance of the course. The relevance of course is the student will engage their home and society environment into the activities in this book as mentioned in exercise. C. Detail of material. 1. Theories of learning development. Bags, clothing company advertising strategy. The field of teaching young learners, particularly in teaching English, has expanded enormously in the last recent year. We need therefore to draw on work from beyond language classroom, in child development, in learning theory, in first language development, and in development of a second language in bilingual context. Like Cameron said in his research on the cognitive development of children, Jerome Brunet proposed 3 methods of representation. 1. Inactive representation or action-based. 2. Iconic representation or image-based. 3. Symbolic representation or language-based. Bruner's 3 models of representation: inactive 0 to 1 year. This appearance first, it involves encoding action-based information and storing it in our memory. For example, in the form of movement as a muscle memory, a baby might remember the action of shaking a rattle. The child represents past even-though motor response. An infant will shake a rattle which has just been removed or dropped, as if the movement themselves are expected to produce the accustomed sound, and this is not just limited to children. Iconic 1 until 6 years. This is where information is stored visual in the form of image or a mental picture in the mind is. For some this is consequence, other they don't expensive it. Symbolic 7 years onwards, this develop less. This is where information is stored in the form of a code or symbol, such as language. This is the most adaptable form of representation, for action and image have a fixed relation to that which they represent. Dog is a symbolic representation of a single class. Meeting 4. Both Brunner and Vygotsky emphasize a child environment, especially the social environment, more than Piaget did. Both agree the adult should play an active role in assisting the child learning. Brunner, like Vygotsky, emphasized the social nature of learning, citing that other people should help a child develop skill through the process of scaffolding. Brunner and Piaget. Obviously, there are similarities between Piaget and Brunner, but an important difference is that Brunner's modes are not related in terms of which presuppose the one that precedes it. Brunner states that what determines that level of intellectual development is the extent to which the child has been given appropriate instruction together with practice or experience. So the right way of presentation and the right explanation will enable a child to grasp a concept usually only understood by an adult. His theory stresses the role of education and the adult. Although Brunner proposed stages of cognitive development, he doesn't see them as representing different separate modes of thought at different points of development like Piaget. Instead, he sees a gradual development of cognitive skill and technical into more integrated. Brunner agrees with Piaget. 1. Children are pre-adapted to learning. 2. Children have a natural curiosity. 3. Children cognitive structure development over time. 4. Children are active participants in the learning process. 5. Cognitive development entails the acquisition of symbol. Brunner disagrees with Piaget. 1. Development is a continuous process, not series of steps. 2. The development of language is a cause, not a consequence of cognitive development. 3. You can spin off cognitive development. You don't have to wait for the child to be ready. 4. The involvement of adult and more knowledgeable peers makes a big difference. 5. Symbolic thought does not replace earlier modes of representation. Characteristic of children learning style. A. Auditory of language learner. This type learn through listening to what others have to say and talking about what they're learning. 1. Remember information by talking aloud. 2. Need to have things explained orally. 3. May have trouble with written instruction. 4. Talk to themselves while learning something new. 5. Enjoy discussion group over working alone. B. Visual of language learner. These people learn stroke watching. For their learning to make sense, they need to be able to see, visualize, and illustrate their knowledge, skill, and concept. 1. Remembering visual details. 2. Preferring to see what they are learning. 3. Needing to have paper and pens handy. 4. Doodling while listening. 5. Liking to write down instruction or see them demonstrate. C. Kinesthetic or tactile learners. These learners like to be actively involved in the learning process and learn by stroke, hand-on activities and movement. 1. Want to actually do whatever is being talked about or learned. 2. Like to move around while listening or talking. 3. Often talk with their hands. 4. Like to touch things in order to learn about them. 5. Remember even by recalling who did what rather than who said what. Meeting 5. Developmental psychologists and educational researcher Howard Gardner observed that even though all individuals in a group seemed to be equally intelligent, a lesson plan that worked successfully for some children didn't work as well for others. He asserted that different people approach learning in different ways and that children learn better in school when their individual learning style are recognized and supported. He outlined 7 different learning styles as auditory, visual, kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, linguistic, and logical mathematical. Education has traditionally been focused around linguistic and logical mathematical learning style. However, students can interact learning models such as the Mentoring method and the International Baccalaureate program have found success helping children learn in the way that is best for them. Well, we will also share tips on how to help your children's success if they are one of these learning styles. 1. Infant. Even infants may display tendencies toward a certain way of learning. Experts believe some babies seem especially observant and attuned to details. Say Barbara Marcel Even, MD, Neurodevelopment Pediatric at the Robert Wood Johnson Medical School in Camden, NG. Others may be very verbal and vocal at an early age. A 3-month-old who stared at the letter C waves in her teeny hand takes information visually, auditory, tactually, and kinesthetically. A 1-year-old may seem physically precocious, but that can leave off within a few months, and then she may seem very attuned to listening instead. All this experimentation is good for your baby. 2. Physical development. Between 9 and 12 months, babies' physical development affords them many different opportunities to play, move, and relate. Standing and cruising bring babies to new places in their homes, as well as access to objects and furniture at new age. They can now pick up objects from the floor as well as reach for items that might be on low shelves or coffee tables. Besides gross motor development, the older babies' hand-eye coordination and fine motor skill are also maturing. They practice picking up and letting go of whatever they can put their hand on. Perhaps you've seen this like games played from your baby high chair. Your baby high chair may actually be his experiments to learn about how things fall. 3. Imitation and play. As babies continue to observe first new events and explore new environments, they might begin to imitate adult behaviors. They may imitate and replace voice sound they hear, a specific sequence of action, or even emulate adult behaviors with pretend play. After the age of 9 months, babies become fascinated with learning about the object by interesting in new and creative ways. 4. Remember, learning does not happen at once. Baby develop many skills at the same time. If so, her language development may slow down for a bit. If so, her physical and social skill may stall. Give plenty of support and all areas of development will usually level out. Toddler, here's how you can recognize and support each other of learner. 1. Auditory learners gain new information based by hearing it, sign that your child is a listener. A. She quickly remembers the words to story and song. B. She follows direction easily. C. She repeats overhead phrases and comment. Why to help her learn? A. The more you talk, the more information she will gather. B. She will enjoy listening to stories about both real and imaginary events and telling her own. C. Songs and rhymes are a great way to teach new things, from colors and letters to remembering daily routines. 2. Kinesthetic learners like to get physically involved in learning, using their bodies to invest in new places and concepts. Sign that your child is a mover. A. He gleefully zoomed down the slide over and over again. B. He pretended to be character from a favorite book, miming the story action. C. He always brings his toy to life, moving them about and revel in active games. Why to help him learn? A. If he acts out story, it will help him understand and remember favorite books. B. Teaching new information by creating movement games, for instance, draw leader on the sidewalk and have him jump on the one or call out. C. Have him role player scenario you have created to help him learn new concept or remember important safety lists. 3. Tactile learners need to feel and touch things to understand how they work. Sign that your child a toucher. A. She drawn to objects with interesting shape and texture and loves to play with blocks. B. She needs to actually feel abstract ideas such as touching an ice cube to understand how cold. C. She has trouble following direction to unfamiliar text. Why to help her learn? A. Introduce new texts or material, then let her try them. B. Give her materials with interesting texture that are sturdy enough to stand up to incentive handling. C. Offer her a variety of puzzle and table games. D. Let her make shapes and letters with her finger and sand or flour off from them with 4. Visual learner picks up information best by seeing new material. Saying that your child a watcher. A. He's mesmerized by photos, illustration, and television show or video. B. He remembers how to do things he's seen others doing. C. He's quickly to recognize space, color, and letters. Why to help him learn? A. Share picture book with plan of engaging graphic. B. Show him education television show and videos, which are good way to explore new topic. C. Demonstrate how to do text or use material he hasn't tried before. D. Let him sort and match by creating more murals or collage. A. Make a chart with pots or to show daily routines or household chores. Meeting 6. Preschool. Learning style in preschool period. Children demonstrate self-confidence. Effective preschool teacher. A. Provide materials and activities to further learning at the child's developmental level and to foster feelings of competence. B. Make adaptation to the classroom environment to support individual children's needs. C. Use children's ideas and interests to inspire activities and to engage students in discussion. Preschool English language. 1. Reading literature. Effective preschool teacher. A. Create cozy, comfortable reading areas with a variety of age-appropriate printed material. B. Read aloud to each child individually and in small and large groups 2 or more times a day in different settings using age-appropriate high-quality books and texts. C. Organize routines of the day with children to ensure that children are aware of their opportunities for read aloud with the teacher involved. Small group or one-on-one as well as time of the day that they can use the classroom library and self-select books for their reading enjoyment. D. Prepare children for listening to a new book during read aloud by building on background knowledge. A. E. Read aloud the entire book with few interruptions and use motivating expression appropriate to storyline. 2. Reading. Effective preschool teacher. A. Model teacher reading in a variety of genres throughout the day and encourage children reading. B. Provide shared reading opportunities. C. Take dictation for a child by reading exactly what the child says and making sure that child can see what you are reading. Read the dictation back to the child, tracing their words with a finger. D. Encourage individual and small group of children reading at the reading center and other centers independently or with teacher support. E. Models the process of classroom bookmaking by using different sizes and shapes of paper, varied and interesting color, etc. 3. Language. Effectively preschool teacher. A. Response to children using their words or reflect back with the correct plural form, tenses, preposition, and incomplete sentence. Also add new and rich vocabulary to the response when appropriate. B. Ensure that children have interesting opportunities to practice language using plural forms, preposition, complete sentence, and question sentence by using prompts and toys in engaging individual, small, and large group opportunities. C. Provide individual support to each child to rate their name on their works throughout the day. Allow children who need it ample time to move through the developmental stage of reading. D. Encourage children to use their emergent writing skill developmentally or with teacher support by providing ongoing and motivating up-to-date material and activities at the reading center based on individual and group interest including written models of the alphabet and printed words with pictures that children currently use and request for reading project. Bold oral language and reading skill through read aloud extension activities in classroom center. Optimus children learning style. 1. Kinesthetic learners. A. You should go to school that is active learning system where many students are involved in the learning process. B. Learning through experience using a variety of props such as laboratory experiments. C. For students who have excess energy capacity should be given physical activity at home before school. 2. Auditory learners. A. Read and repeat the lesson material by making a sound or asking others to read it. Use music as a learning tool. B. Provide with a tape recorder to record all the subject matter taught at school and repeat at home. C. Conduct verbal review with friends, parents, or teacher. 3. Visual learners. A. Learn to memorize as a flashcard or small card containing the keywords of any information being studied. B. Learn to look for alternative material from various sources, for example, from the video, PowerPoint, mind map, image, or an interesting chart. This will help you to get a big picture of what he will learn. Meeting 7. Learning Style of Young Language Learner Part 2, Kindergarten and 1st to 6th grade. Here, 10 helpful ideas for teaching English to young learners by Joan Kangsin. Teaching English to young learners is a rapidly growing field around the world, and English education is increasingly found at the primary levels. However, starting earlier is not necessarily the solution for producing better English speakers. Therefore, what can EFL teachers of young learners do to advantage of the flexibility of young mind and the malleability of young tongue to grow better speakers of English? 1. Supplement activities with visual realia and movement. Young learners tend to have short attention span and a lot of physical energy. In addition, children are very much linked to their surroundings and are more interested in the physical and the tangible. Scott and Yetterberg describe their own understanding comes through hands and eyes and ears. The physical world is dominant at all times. Use bright colored visual, toys, puppet, or object. 2. Involve the student to making visual and realia. Young learners have short attention span for age 5 to 7. Keep activities around 5 and 10 minutes long. For ages 8 till 10, keep activities 10 to 15 minutes long. Scott and Yetterberg suggest creating a balance between the activities in the column on the right side. Young learners have short attention spans for age 5 to 7. Keep activities around 5 and 10 minutes long. For ages 8 to 10, keep activities 10 to 15 minutes long. Scott and Yetterberg suggest creating a balance between the activities in the column on the right side. 3. Move from activities to activities. Young learners have short attention span for age 5 to 7. Keep activities around 5 and 10 minutes long. For age 8 to 10, keep activities 10 to 5 to 15 minutes long. Scott and Yetterberg suggest creating a balance between the activities in the column on the right side. quiet or noisy exercise, different skill listening or talking, reading or writing, individual periodic, group work or whole class activities, teacher pupil or pupil activities. 4. Teach in the mess. A thematic unit, a series of lessons on the same topic or subject, can create broader context in which to teach language. Recite language from lesson to lesson and allow students focus more on content and communication than on language structure. Common them for animals, friends, family, environment, citizenship, shopping, or unit revolving around a storybook, website, celebrities, or movie. Student like them is based on curricula from student author subject are also effective. 5. Using story and contents familiar with the student. Use of stories and contents in home country or culture can help connect English with their background knowledge, which is limited because of their young age and inexperience. 6. Establish classroom routine in English. Function well within a structured environment and enjoy repetition of certain routine and activities. Having basic routine in the classroom can help to manage your learners. Classwork rhythm means for students to repeat, start the lesson with song or chant, add classroom language to their routine as well. 7. Use L1 as resource as necessary. Use L1 in the classroom as a resource for furthering the learning process without becoming too reliant on it. Concentrate on building communicative skills. Save your time for the target language actually within student range. Quickly make difficult expression comprehensible by translation into L1. Use L1 for communicated direction for activities. 8. Bring in helper from the community. 9. Collaborate with other teachers in your school. 10. Communicate with other teaching English for young learner professional. Learning style in kindergartner and first grade to sixth grade. Learning style in kindergarten. Kindergarten is considered an important and purposeful education level, and it is not less important than other education level. Moreover, it is a level that has important behavior, cognitive, and affective goals, which the teacher tries to make the student acquire them. Visual learners in kindergarten are attracted to puzzle, building sets, the computer, cutting and pasting, and other activities that involve their eyes and hands. Drawing and printing come easily, as does the memorization work of configuration by the beginning readers. It comes as no surprise that visual learners go on to enjoy video game, the internet, board game, craft, and model. Auditory learners in kindergarten are love to sing and recite the song and remain ask a seemingly endless stream question and have clear, precise space like tell the story or legend. Kinesthetic learners in kindergarten are drawn to climbing, jumping, block building, reading thoughts, and full body activities in wide open space. Learning style in first to sixth grades. Beginning in the first grade, students are expected to master reading, spelling, and maths, while the ability to successfully complete classwork and homework assignment become high priority. Visual learners in first to sixth grade are likely to use flashcards, direct copying of notes and vocabularies, write down summaries, and watch video and simulation. Meeting A. creating learning environment for young language learner listening and speaking. A. Creating an environment for young language learner. A caring environment in which children feel secure and valued will allow them to express their thoughts, feelings, and understanding. The classroom environment should promote language as a tool for learning across the curriculum. Teachers need to provide an environment which promotes active listening and purpose talking, while designated reading and comprehensive reading. Establish a welcoming early learning environment. Establish a welcoming environment by reflecting the linguistic and cultural diversity of all children in such things as classroom, poster, picture, props, develop toys, games, storybook, media resource, music, instrument, and food server in the classroom, providing opportunities for family and community members to share experiences with children in the classroom in their home language as well as in English, providing learning experience such as field trip and other community outing to place where children and family can learn about the culture and history of themselves and others. Offering opportunities are for children assisted by their parent or other family and or communication member to cook food from a wide range of cultural backgrounds, learning and using keywords in the home language of the children, ensuring that the children are respected and valued, and that bias and discrimination are quickly and effectively dealt with when they arise. Encourage children to play. Play is the cornerstone activity for social, cognitive, and language development in children from 2.5 to 5 years old. Early childhood professionals should promote play as the leading activities for children. The relationship between language development and play is two-way. Language makes it's possible for children to adopt rules and to negotiate the rules and goals of play. Dramatic or pattern play stimulate the development of language. Playful development through imagination and symbolic function. Symbolic function are the ability to understand the object, action, word, and people can stand for something else. Symbolic functions are at the core of pretend play and form the foundation for conceptual thinking, literary and numeracy. For young children, learning a new language, play provides a safe space to try out new words. Even if they do not know the exact word for something, children do not feel embarrassed by using a different name for each age. As in play, everything can become anything. A stick can be a horse or a pen. Meeting 9. Teaching grammar and vocabulary. When teaching foreign language vocabulary to children, the teacher needs to keep in mind that young learners are still building on their first language vocabulary and are still in the process of acquiring and organizing concepts. The first language background needs to be taken into account in order to know what will work and what might be too difficult for children. It is also common sense that teaching names of animals will go fine with young learners. However, teaching more explicit adjectives, relevant, significant, or exhaustive to 7 or 8-year-olds is rather a pointless effort. Basic level words are likely to be more appropriate for young learners, While building up more sophisticated, complex, and abstract vocabulary should come later and should rely on basic vocabulary. Teachers should also note that learning a new word is not a simple text that is done once and then completed. Children need to be exposed to words in many different situations, which means that learning a word takes a long time. In addition, the above quote also suggests that teaching words should be carried out in intervals. Teachers should go back to previously taught words regularly in different activities where the same words are used or meet again. Brewster, Ellis, and Girard explained that children go through 5 main stages in their effort to learn new words and attract the words they already know. The stages they identify are the following: 1. Understanding and learning the meaning of new words. 2. Attending to form. 3. Vocabulary practicing, memorizing, and checking activities. 4. Consolidating, resizing, extending, organizing, recording, and personalizing vocabulary. 5. Developing strategies for vocabulary learning. The first stage of vocabulary learning introduced by Brewster, Ellis, and Girard is connected with the introduction of new words and the several different ways of presenting vocabulary. They claim that new words are ideally presented in a context which is familiar to the child and that visual support is very important to help convey meaning and to help students memorize new vocabulary. They claim that it is helpful to introduce new words in group based on certain similarities. 1. Lexical sets such as soap, freight, clothes, house, etc. 2. Rhyming sets such as bat, rat, hat, man, etc. 3. Color sets such as things that are green, frog, key, apple, leaf, etc. 4. Grammatical sets such as adjective, verbs, noun, preposition, etc. 5. Partner or collocation such as play the piano, ride a bike, loud noise, get up, battery, etc. 6. Positive or male and female such as hot or cold, boy or girl, husband or wife. Grouping words together definitely helps students associate new words with words they already know and assist them in reselling words. When learning new words, the emphasis should definitely be placed on consolidating words that students know and practicing a vowel number of words rather than presenting a huge amount of words and expecting children to memorize them. Vocabulary practicing, memorizing, and checking activities involve the activities participation of students. Children need to do certain activities with words in order to learn them properly and to make strong memory connection. The more things they do with the new word, the more frequently they use them, the more likely they are to remember them. This stage is interrelated with the stage of consolidating, recycling, extending, organizing, recording, and personalizing vocabulary. However, this stage also underlines the importance of personalizing vocabulary to help children build up their own vocabulary system. It is not only about students creating their own vocabulary books, but also about deepening children's knowledge of words and helping them discover connection between words. They can make their own set of vocabulary, colors cards, flashcards, and vocabulary bag, or even create a class dictionary or set of words. Presenting new words. There are several different ways of presenting new vocabulary to young learners. The most frequent ones are the following: realia, bringing the things the word represent into the classroom. For example, postcard, ruler, pen, ball, etc. The teacher hold up the object or point to it, say the word, and then get students to repeat it. Picture, bringing a pen into the classroom is not a problem. Bringing in a car, however, is one solution. Could be bringing in picture, board drawing, wall picture, card, flashcard, or magazine picture. They can illustrate concepts such as above and opposite, clothes, part of the body, forms of transport, etc. Explanation. It can be very difficult, especially with young learners at beginner and elementary levels. It is more suitable for older and intermediate students. However, if it is done with care, it can be effective even with younger children. For example, when explaining the word dog, the teacher can say it is an animal. It say wolf, and its man's best friend. The teacher can combine explanation with miming or even acting. Translation. It is a quick and easy way to present meaning, but not without problems. It seems to be the most straightforward and the fastest way of explaining new vocabulary to young learners. On the other hand, it may be a bit too easily, and it discourages students from interacting with the word in English. Pointing, touching, tasting, feeling, smelling. It is about getting children using their sense. It helps memorize words and understanding their meanings. Using digital technology, using the internet, the interactive whiteboard, tablet, and smartphone. All of the above presentation techniques, either singly or in combination, are useful way of introduction new words. What must be remembered with vocabulary presentation too is that pronunciation is just as important here as it is for structural material. We should not introduce words without making sure that students know how they are said. They must know how to use the word in speech. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.